Martin, so this is going to be a bit more casual rather than a Khan Academy type video. I'm just going to go over, I'm just going to look through some of your solutions and show you some points that I mean. Okay, so on this one, on question one, I found it really unclear. Okay, so when you say, for instance, x is the amount of time the biker needs from A to B, but here you label it and it looks like a distance. Okay, that's kind of misleading, and also it's not clear whether x is like this point to B. It's not clear if this was like intentional. You know, like when I did the solution, I labeled it as a capital X. So this diagram is not entirely clear. Also, when you say time versus distance doesn't matter constant, now this is a recurring theme in what you do. Now, um, that's not a complete sentence, and I don't entirely know what that means. Um, time, yeah, I just doesn't matter. Yeah, I just don't know what that means. I can't decipher that, I'm afraid. So try and write in complete sentences. It's just going to be much easier for now, and then um, I can understand it's like cons is constant, and amount of time biker needs from A to B. That it's not a complete sentence, but it makes sense. But I think maybe just to be safe, you should write in complete sentences so that you know everything makes sense. Again, it's not entirely clear how you're getting these. Hopefully, that you see in my solution, I kind of explained as I was going. Um, I hope it makes more sense and you can kind of compare the difference. Part of the skill isn't just being able to do the problems, it's also being able to write them down and kind of explain them to someone else, right? It's part of the problem is that don't view it as like a separate thing, view them as part of the same problem. Okay, now another thing is 1 to 3 ratio. We never do that. We write them as fractions. Now you're correct, and maybe you did this in school, but we just write 1/4 divided by 3/4 is 1/3. We don't even write divided by, to be honest. You just reciprocate it. So I guess find another way of rephrasing this, right? So then you said, I found question one quite easy. I just laid out the problem and applied some basic algebra. From there, I applied what I had said when I was done. Okay, cool. These comments are quite useful, by the way. This format works well. So if you want to do it like this in the future, that's cool. Okay. Oh, by the way, I didn't do videos on all of the questions. That I might do. I'll talk about it as I go through. But the other ones, you should refer to the solutions it gives because I've checked through those, and the ones I've done videos for, I felt I kind of added something. The other ones, you get everything that I feel I could help you with from the online solutions. So take a look at those. But in general, only look at those after you've done the questions. Right? It's a really bad habit to get into, like checking them yourself or whatever. So you don't ever look at those until you've handed it to me, right? And then you can look through them and watch the videos I give you, whatever. Okay. So this was good. This was a good idea for question 2 to draw this table. But again, you come down here and I'm really not clear what's happening. So all these labels are fine. I understand you only do half the table. 28 options fine. These are the edge values because these are the sums, right? And you can't have two numbers the same. Sure. But then when you talk about this is the most efficient it can be, what do you mean by that? I mean, I kind of have some concept of what you mean, where you're trying to find like the best. I'm not even sure I can verbalize it. You're trying to kind of look at some arrangement and see what you can do, and then try and extend it to the main thing, maybe. But this idea of efficiency is a bad one in a proof anyway. If you're trying to kind of reason to yourself, then okay. But as a formal proof or solution, often you kind of want to say, well, in the worst case scenario, this is true. But again, that's not really valid. Okay, you'll see other ones in the future probably where you think, well, let's consider the worst case scenario, but it's not valid. You need to find another way of thinking about problems, and similarly here. So again, I've read this and I'm not really sure what it means, I'm afraid. So maybe you should read back and see if you think it makes sense, or how you could make it clearer. But definitely with question 2, you want to check out the online one. Okay. I start this one by making a cube I drawn. I label the vertices and edges with letters and so. Yeah. Okay. I mean, in the future, you don't need to include your whole the whole process you went through. If it helps you, then fine. But I'm more interested in the final result, to be honest, the final formal solution. If you haven't been able to come up with anything, then I want to know what you tried. But you could summarize that in kind of a couple of sentences. Um, okay. Yeah. So again, this is explaining the process, and clearly you learned something. This is great. But I don't need to see this. If you want to send it to me, then fine. But um, you know, I think it's more for you. Um, okay, question 5. Um, right, so you got here in the end. Um, hopefully my video was useful on this anyway. Again, give me feedback on all the videos in terms of the format, how I was doing them, um, the content. If you think anything was redundant, then let me know. Because I spent probably more time than I would usually doing on this section. Sorry, on this sheet. But again, I'll get more efficient, and we'll find out what works. Okay, cool. Yeah, left with the feeling I should have realized that earlier. That'll be a common theme. It always seems obvious when you know the solution, right? um, again, you don't need to include all these, but I read it, and yeah, it's interesting, and it sounds like you learned something. Yeah, using these tables is kind of a last resort. If you have no idea what else to do, then fine. The other thing is with question 7, I think I'll do I'll give you a model example of a kind of a harder question using modulus signs, because this is a common problem that comes up, and it's yeah, once you get your head around it, it's not too bad, but initially it's kind of strange, I suppose. But I guess you got there in the end. Yeah, this is right, and 96 is correct. Again, you can check the online solution, um, and that might help you. Yeah, let's. I haven't had a look what you did here. Let's have a look. Right. So the first thing I would say is these numbers are just horrific, right? No one wants to be writing these down the whole time. Um, yeah, I think my video will help you with this. It's about looking at the structure and realizing that 2011 is arbitrary and messing around. This was a hard question, but you can do it. So yeah, that's my comments on your solutions. Um, I'll try and do a video for some modulus graphs at some point, but it might be a while. So I think that's everything that I'm going to do for this sheet. If you have any other questions, then uh, I'll put aside like an hour at some point, let you know, message you, and then you can message me with questions during that hour. And we'll see what we can do. Hopefully, it won't take an hour of questions. Hopefully, it will be, yeah, actually, an hour's too long. I'll message you with some other arrangement, because otherwise I'm going to end up spending my whole life doing this and not get any work done. But yeah, I hope that was useful. Let me know how you thought it went, how you thought my feedback was, and I'll send you a message about what I want you to do next. But good job. You clearly worked hard on this, and you did really well. So yeah, you should be happy with yourself. Okay, I hope that was useful.